All right. Well, we continue to have members joining us. So hello, everyone. My name is Maria. I am going to be our instructor for tonight. And we have several artsy members on our call, and we also have special guests who we've invited to the call to just kick off Create in the Classroom for 2024, 2025. And I will share more as we get started. And I'll tell you right now, but then I'll be telling you here again in a second. It is intended to be an interactive workshop, but I want this to be like a really clean recording. But we have some of our artsy coaches on the chat, so you can just start asking any questions as we go along, and then I'll pause throughout to also answer some more questions that you guys might have going. But I want to honor your time, and I have 60 slides, and that means we have 60 minutes that I want to get through here. So I wanted to show you what we got going on tonight. All right, so I'm Maria. This is me in a photo shoot, and I will be your workshop instructor and your artsy coach for today. But also, like I said, Tammy, Mandy, and Dawn are also on the call. You can see them in the chat. I think they're all on here. I'm not 100% sure all three are on here. And they can answer any questions that you have as we're going along, and we will have an interactive poll and things like that. And so just if I'm moving too fast, you can ask for clarity there, and then I can come back and answer whatever you might have going on there as well. And really the intent of our call is to, well, I will tell you the intent of our call coming up, but especially if you're already an artsy member, I just want you to know, like, this is kickoff time for Create in the Classroom, and we're excited to have some new curriculum. So this is the artsy coaches that are on the call. We have been pioneering this industry since 2011. We've been in the paint and sip business and really started innovating all the way since 2011. There's a whole timeline here of being in this paint party industry, really in the mobile paint party industry. So you'll learn more about that. We started Artsy back in 2018, a spinoff from Gallery on the Go, as an association to help other artsy entrepreneurs. If you own your own paint party studio, or maybe you're a mobile paint partypreneur, or you're looking to just start one, right? And we collaborate, we're together, we're like a collective. It helps you save time, it helps you save money. We offer training, our expertise, and of course, making sure our job is fun. And so here at the association, we believe in working together to support your side hustle. Most of us here on the call are part-time. Very few of us do this full-time. And so when you are part-time, you need some extra support and you're not trying to reinvent the wheel to have a full-time business. Of course, many people do have full-time studios, and that's great as well. And you need some additional support with that. And so we can also support those people, especially if that might be you building into maybe a full-time studio. Tammy, who's one of our artsy coaches, she operates a studio. And so we have a little bit of expertise in all those different areas. The Artsy Association is, we do have Facebook groups. We can connect in there. We can ask questions in there. We have monthly coaching tools. I know it says here meetings, but usually it's something like this, what we're doing today. And then we also jump online and we have other tutorials and trainings, which I'll tell you about. And really it's just coaching, like business coaching, because it's one thing to know how to operate a business and go out and do it. And it's another thing to be encouraged to keep going, especially business when you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, it can be very lonely. And so that's what we love about the Artsy Association, is we're in this together. So I always like to say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And so we really are just a network of creative entrepreneurs. So if you've never heard of Artsy before, you can look up some of these other brands. Create in the Classroom is what we're talking about today. Gallery on the Go is our main mobile paint and sip business. And then we also do art bars, or artsy pop-ups is what we call them. And so we have just a couple of different brands and different things that we do when we approach our business. And we all work in different ways in our business. And so I'll share more about that here in a minute. But I'm wondering why you're here on the call today. I'm wondering if you're looking for a part-time side hustle, but you don't really have 15 to 20 hours a week to go work a part-time job, right? So you need something more than traditional part-time pay. So keep these in mind, because this is going to be one of our polls coming up. Number two, maybe you've been wanting to start a creative business, but something new like this can be overwhelming. and maybe you're wondering if this is even the right time to start something like this. Or number three, you have already been working a creative business. I know a lot of our artsy members are on this call, but the industry continues to shift and you need to pivot, or maybe you want to add create in the classroom to your business menu. So with those three, let me see if I can come launch a poll. I just want to know why you're on this call. Here we are. Here's the polls. So here, why are you here? There we go. So can you guys see my poll on the screen? Hopefully, let me see if it needs to be over here. Yeah, so I just want to see who's on the call with us today. Some of you have been wanting to start a creative business, looking for a part-time side hustle that pays. Most of you on the call already have a creative business. Very good. Okay, we'll keep that going. See a couple more of you want to add to that. Any other reason that you might be on the call, you can type that in the chat. You're just curious how this is going. Very good. If there's any other reason you're here. All right, here, I'll share the results. So a few of you are on here. You already have a business. You're looking to expand it. You're looking for a creative side hustle that pays. And so one of you is starting a new side hustle. I love new entrepreneurs, so I'm excited that you're here. All right, let's see. So yeah, I like to say that you get to create a life you love. I started this business in 2011, going on 14 years, and I would never turn back from creating this business. I had a business brain. I worked in accounting, and who was I to think I could become an artist or even start an art-based business? I have no art degree, no art background, and I wouldn't change a thing for where we are today. So you get to pick the garden you're planted in, is what I say, and I love this painting with those colorful flowers. But in this workshop, you're going to, number one, learn how this is an easy and affordable business to start. Number two, you're going to see how you can be confident in the easy step-by-step process to build a profitable and rewarding business. Number three, you will make a great art ambassador for your community, even if you're not that artsy. And number four, you'll feel empowered with this business strategy to help you bridge your existing artsy business. All right, so I sent you all, hopefully you got the workbook. It was in the confirmation email if you registered. So it's 5 pages. You don't have to print it, but you can follow along. I'm basically going to cover each of those pages and topics. Now, if you're an existing artsy member and you want more detail than this, that might be why you joined for more detail. You can ask them in the chat. We can break script here in a bit and we can answer some more of those questions as we go along. But I'm also going to be planning just a one-on-one business coaching session, virtual, where we're just join live, and then you can ask your questions for your specific situations that you might have going on at the schools you're trying to reach. All right, so download the workbook, or I'll have it up on the screen as we go along as well. So get your notebooks ready. Today, I'm going to specifically talk about working with kids. But remember, in an artsy business, you can cross all different demographics, socioeconomic classes, ages, demographics. You can use what I'm going to teach today in other places outside of schools. But for my conversation today, I'll be focusing on schools. The art entertainment industry is what we call this. It's a thriving industry. It continues to grow, and you can begin building a successful business like right from your house today. You can expand it right from your home, all around your own schedule and passions. Like I said, a lot of us are part-time, and I know you can build this around whatever you got going on full-time. So the Artsy Business Blueprint will help you to creatively make money by bringing an element of art to any party or event. All right, so let's get started, because the very first thing I want to say is, especially if you're newly building a business, is if you're not an artist, not a problem. This is Tammy, the picture on the screen here. This is our guide, Tammy, our artsy coach, Tammy, who has a studio. She does have a studio in North Dakota. And see how much fun she's having. Now, I kind of felt weird posting this picture of Tammy, because actually Tammy does have an art degree. Tammy is the art teacher among us. But she wanted to build outside of a school, right? And she wanted to go into the business world. And that's what I love about Artsy, is because Artsy will help you if you're not an artist or art teacher, and if you're not business savvy. That's also where we can fill in that gap. So we kind of marry those things together. And before we even start talking about doing art in schools, I need you to just know it's more about relationships. It's more about taking a genuine interest in kids. It's about creating a space for creativity and art materials because believe it or not, it's not always welcome in schools. I know you would think it is, but it's not. And because a lot of time art is being cut from schools. The other thing that schools are looking forward to is having another helpful, positive adult in their building or in their community who is working and engaging with kids because teachers can only reach so many kids. The other thing is spending time after school with kids. It's a safe place to be. Parents really enjoy that, enjoy knowing where their kids are and that they're doing healthy, helpful things outside of being locked up in their room, isolated with video games. So that's what it's more about, is being present with those kids. And then you're really offering something that aligns with what the school needs. And we're going to talk more about the schools as we get going here. So the very first thing in your workbook is all about the art. So of course, those of you who are in the association, we love canvas painting, which is what we're going to talk about. But even if maybe you're like, I don't know if I want to offer art in schools or specifically painting, maybe you want to offer wood projects or drawing or some other art form. What I'm going to tell you about today is the value of paint parties or the value of canvas. One, it's affordable. Two, we know how to make it mobile. Three, the time frame to actually paint a project, it can be done on canvas very easily. What you don't want is like an art project that you have to do back to back months or something like that. And sometimes art projects do, like if you're doing pottery, right? You got to come do one session and then another session. So we have figured out that canvas painting is a really easy and affordable thing to do. With canvas painting, we offer templates and we offer flat panel canvas, which is really smart. So you're not like puncturing holes in stretch canvas. And then acrylic paint is very affordable, economical for you to offer. So that's why we love canvas painting. Painting parties are still all the rage. And I know what you might be thinking, like, haven't these kids done paint parties? Even if they have, you paint something new. It's a consumable product. But here's the thing. If you start with first graders, second graders, third graders, right? The chances are they're new to painting. And so some of us who have been doing this for 14 years, those kids did grow up doing paintings, but they still don't necessarily get tired of it. But you could evolve when you're in, especially if you've been in a school for a while, you can start to evolve into other projects as well. But for now, I just want to talk about that. I always like to share with you young Rembrandts. They're a great, especially if you're going to be a savvy business person. I always say, go do some research. Young Rembrandts is a great business to research because one, they charge a lot to franchise, and all they do is they go into schools and they teach drawing. That's all. That's what they're trained to do. And so it's a great business model, very similar to what Create in the classroom is. So you can go look up, what is it that they're doing and how do they operate? I mean, they do sell a franchise for quite a bit of money. But they sign up in schools. Schools allow them to come in after school and create this program. Now, there's other forms of after school programs, right? You have dance clubs, you have karate or mixed martial arts, you have all sorts of after school clubs if the school allows them and is open to them. Cub Scouts, all that good stuff. All right, so in your workbook, the question there is like, what art do you want to bring to the classroom? And I have a couple of pictures here of different art form. The little girl on the left here, I love doing wood projects with my kids too. And so you don't have to do just canvas. So you get to be you, and also you're serving the community that your community is learning. So for example, some people do, like here at Gallery on the Go and Artsy, we say we're fun art, not fine art. But you know what? You might go into a school that values fine art, right? And so you might want to offer a fine art course. And so where are you going to find those resources? Maybe you're interested in that. You can go find other curriculums that maybe you can teach inside of a school. I'm not just here to promote paint parties or the type of painting that we do. but I do want you to brainstorm what you would like to do with these kids in school. What is missing from your part of town? What is missing in your area? So yeah, a couple of tips that the workbook shares is whatever that art form is, it needs to be done in like an hour and a half, right? Kids get out of school, they come, they probably need a snack. You're there, you set up, you tear down, and then they're getting picked up by their parents, usually by like 4:30 or 5, depending on the school schedule. Also, remember, you have to think about finishing that project and being able to carry it out. The other thing you need to take into consideration is what is the price point going to be? We're going to get there here in a minute. But your cost, and that's why I love canvas painting, because the cost is low. So what art form are you considering? Share with us in the chat if you think you might offer something else other than canvas painting. So go ahead and type that in the chat. You guys can talk to each other there. What you see on the screen now is just this idea that you can easily create a 8-month, 12-month schedule. It really depends. To be really honest, we have found the most success for Create in the Classroom to be between the months of September and April. And the reason is, obviously, we're in August right now. Schools have already kicked off, but the parents have already spent all their money on school supplies. They've already had to pay back to school fees or whatever else. So there's no need in like trying to do something in August. However, it is a good time to sign up for camps and things like that. But don't worry, even if you're not in schools right now, it's not too late, because all the administrators and everybody have been just trying to kick off school. So as soon as you start to come in and say, hey, have you thought of having an art program after school? You're right on time. So you can get going starting in September. October is fantastic. And the reason we really only go till March or April is because if you're a parent, you absolutely hate the month of May, right? Anybody else hate the month of May as a parent? You have field day, you have awards assemblies, all the stuff, trying to get out of school. Kids are hyper. And so there's no need to try to have Create in the Classroom then. However, your school might want to pay you maybe for an in-school field trip, right? Or something that they're trying to get done, or an award ceremony like reward or something like that. So you still might work in May for the school, but I wouldn't be reaching out to parents necessarily. Now, that's not everybody, right? You might work at a year-round school. So everybody, because we reach people in other countries, it doesn't mean that you have to, not everybody's on the traditional, say, American school cycle. So I do have a 12-month calendar here, because I will point out during Christmas, or December, I should say, and January, there's a winter break. So you might want to offer a winter camp, and the school might let you on site, not always likely. But if they have before and after school clubs at those schools, it's likely that that before or after school club could have you in there for one of their winter activities. The other thing is summer. So our RT coaches on the call right now, Mandy and Dawn both. Dawn makes like $10,000 over the summer just by doing the before and after school clubs during the summer. And some of the pictures that you're going to be seeing here on the slides are really large. Mandy, who's on the chat, you can chat with her. She has anywhere from like 40 to 80 kids sometimes in these after school, before and after school care clubs during the summer. Those parties are awesome because you go during the day, like on a Wednesday afternoon, and you're painting with like 40 to 80 kids. And usually those summer camp like instructors help you. So big picture about this calendar is, what I want you to do is outline your own schedule. You know, especially if you're doing this as a part-time side hustle, or you're trying to build up this business, when are you ready to start start this? But what can you start to plan ahead? Because parents, believe it or not, as soon as you start releasing information and signups, they will pay you in advance to save those kids spots. So now is the time, like if you're creating your calendar, to start thinking not only what I'm going to do in October, November, but am I going to have a winter camp break? You'll see here on our December, we have painting and presents. It's one of our favorite things to do. The kid paints something and they wrap it up, and it's a Christmas present. And again, culturally, you got to just determine if that's celebrated in your community or at your schools. And then we move into January, February, March. Those are fantastic months, especially with indoor activities, especially if you live in a place where it gets cold. Those are really great times to have those. You can also pencil in a fundraiser. Schools love fundraisers and creative new ways of fundraising. So think about, when you could present to your administrators at the school or your PTO or your art teacher, hey, when can we do a fundraiser? And so you can park that in on your annual calendar as well. So CITC has a lot of opportunities January through December, but I would say the monthly events happen mostly September to April, and then you have these opportunities for special events. So there's an idea with a 12-month calendar. It's pretty easy breezy. Just grab yourself a piece of paper and mark yourself the months, January to December, and just start dreaming what that could look like. All right, let's get into our Create in the Classroom module. So here at Artsy, we just released the fall collection, which is 2024 fall collection, and we're already working on our winter and spring. I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about that. Not yet, because it's still under works, but underway, I should say. But the 2024 fall collection, easy and fun. We've only done paintings this time. In the past, we used to add some projects in there, but we're keeping it easy with just fun paintings. Each one of them come with a template. Now, not all of our Artsy members like templates. They like to just free paint straight on a regular canvas. You can do that too, but a lot of them do also have templates that you can easily sketch on a canvas. Every one of our events comes with a fun theme and snack idea. Now, we've placed them in the months, but you can do whatever you want. You can take the ones that we've offered and you can place them in those particular months, or you can move them around. We also have added some bonus projects around mental health, which I'll talk about here in a second. And then we've also have offered 3D and glow paint. So like we've been thinking of ways that you can change up how you paint on canvas, right? One, I have seen adding 3D elements like the bubble gum one you see here adds 3D little foam balls. Those are not foam balls, yarn balls. And adding glow in the dark paint. We have also done paintings in the past where we add like lights that you plug in, like, or battery operated lights. And so what are some fun opportunities that we have with working just with canvas? And so that's what we continue to explore so we can change up what's going on the canvas. So here's just a quick example of that 24 fall release. Here's some fun images that we have. We try to create social media images and things so our members don't have to create new things all the time. And so what are some fun ways of expressing this to the kids at your school, right? Monsters and masterpieces. We really do like to keep the art in the party, which is really hard because some people love fine art and it becomes fussy art. But we're not like that. We're more about fun art and just keeping it a fun thing. I love this glow party idea that you see on the top left of the screen here. We actually are we're encouraging you to include a black light into the December glow party, because you're going to be painting during the day. The lights are on, you don't want to get too crazy, but you can turn the lights off and then you start adding the neon glow in the dark paint to some of these fun elements. And so the kids are going to just have a fun with that. They're going to get a laugh out of that. But then this is their present, right? And so we make sure it's still affordable. I don't know how much, I forget how much these are, like maybe $3 or something a person. And then the kid gets to take this home. It's pretty appropriate for a Christmas gift. But if the kid has signed up for, 3 or 4 sessions, it's kind of a fun little freebie. It mixes up the party. The other thing we have on here are the superpower tiles. Actually, I'll get to that here in a second about the mental health. But our download that we gave to all of our members, each one comes with this sheet, this overview sheet. It has ideas what to do during the dry break. So you always want to give the paint time to dry. So in this case, the bubble gum activity comes with a bubble gum blowing contest, right? So you're going to give all the kids some bubble gum. We do usually recommend an after school snack. It's part of the fun, and we try to keep the costs low. We try to give you an easy economical friendly idea for you. And as you can see here on the bubblegum blowout, there's a history of bubblegum. So you can share these fun ideas and facts. What I love is you don't have to come up with this, right? We've already done this for you. You can expand on it if you want to. But this is what makes this more than just painting. It makes it an experience, right? And so the first kids sign up in September. They have a great time. They're telling their friends. October fills up. And before you know it, like you don't have any room anymore in your class. You have a waiting list now. So, how do we keep these events fun and active? And they are still teaching kids a form of art, right? You're starting to teach them different shapes and shadowing and color and all that fun stuff. And they're just having a good time. You can see here on the right, we have instructions for all of our paintings, and we have templates for all of the Create in the Classroom paintings as well. Now, this is the part I'm super excited about. So I actually work in youth mentoring. I work with youth. I care about their mental health. Obviously, we know all the trends going on with youth. So we came up with painting these mini tiles. They are very much so obviously influenced by what's trending in for kids, right? Super Mario. And so we've taken these very popular icons and created these mental health bully prevention opportunities by talking about bullying. So the month of October is bully prevention month. And so we would recommend, hey, do a bully prevention workshop. And this could be a great way just to get into the school if they haven't yet learned about you and talked about you. This is a way for you to say, hey, I would love to come offer a bully prevention art workshop for a group of kids, a classroom. Maybe the counselors want to offer this to a certain group of kids or something like that. And you can just present this, right? And so you come in and the kids get to paint each one, and they get to pick which one they want to talk about. I like to print helpful tools on the back of the canvas, and I stick them on with labels so that when the kid goes home, when they're alone in their room and they look at their artwork, they kind of remember that important message on the back. Tips about bullying, suicide prevention. You have, like here in Colorado, well, I think it's a national line, right? Pound 988 is the helpful number. So what are some ways that we use art to be more meaningful and have a meaningful message behind it? And so let's say you already got your Create in the Classroom going. You can do this as a dry break activity. You can do it as a bonus. You can you can sub one of the paintings out and do this instead. And so again, these are popular, iconic images that help you have a really important conversation with your students. And so I think when you show a school that you are interested in this, I think they're going to align with that as well, helping kids and have a positive message with it as well. So that these are made on 5x5 tiles, and they also do come with stencils and are fairly easy to paint, so kids can paint them a little bit quicker than a full canvas. But if you wanted to replace this as one of your regular sessions, maybe you let each kid paint 2 or 3 of them, and then you can just open up the room to have really great vulnerable conversation. So tell me what you guys think about that mental health piece, and I can't wait to see it in action. I already did something similar to this at a back to school event, only I used sunshine and rainbows. But I can't wait to start designing these ones. All right. Now, let's just say that you serve in we do have an artsy member in Hawaii. We have artsy members in Japan. We have artsy members in London. And so sometimes our artwork isn't going to flow all the time. Like painting a snowman in Hawaii doesn't always work out well at Create in the Classroom there. And so we have an amazing gallery, on Gallery on the Go that all of our artsy members have access to. So when you're an artsy member, you can come in, you can find this artwork. We also can use social artworking. You can download their images, and you have like hundreds of paintings that you can choose from if you decide you don't want to use the Canvas, the Create in the Classroom bundle. So the possibilities are endless. And of course, you can use art for anything. You can engage, we have Cy Einstein, which is one of our old paintings. And he's super popular. And we've been painting him for 14 years, right? But you're new to this business. You might want to go look him up and incorporate him. So we have so many paintings. Even if our bundle doesn't align with the culture or whatever's going on at your school, you can surely find something in our gallery. All right. And those are some of the design opportunities you have from those. All right. Now let's talk about schools. So going to page 2 in your workbook on schools, how are you going to reach them? And why are you going to reach them? And, why are they going to want to talk to you? Right. So you definitely need some marketing resources. You need to look reputable and professional. You need to be someone they can trust. So we can definitely help you with email marketing, a website, business cards, brochures, or flyers so that you don't have to go create your own thing. You need to just get your foot in the door, right? And that takes a lot of bravery and a lot of courage. So I can definitely give you some helpful tips and encouragement to do that. Who you're looking for at the school is the most important part, right? It's the keys to the kingdom. Now, the true keys to the kingdom in the school is technically the custodian. Okay. If you can be friends with the custodian, even when you're in the school already, they are truly the best person. They have keys to every room in the building. You want to be their friend. You don't want to jack up their floor and carpet. And believe me, you want in good with the custodian. However, who's going to actually let you in to serve their families is going to be, you can get an in through the PTA or the PTO usually. Maybe you start with a fundraiser. The bottom picture that you see here with that Santa, that's like a school fundraiser. The PTA might want to invite you in to raise money for the school, right? That's your in the door. Or the principal. The principal really wants to engage because they want their school to be known to be like a STEAM school. They want to know that they care about art. Or that principal had to make the really hard decision to trim the art program down. And so now they have found another opportunity to bring art in. Or the art teacher. Now, some people think the art teacher is going to be threatened by you, and quite possibly they could be. But the art teacher might want to continue promoting art, and the art teacher can only reach so many people. So those are 3 kind of areas that you can start targeting. Who can I get in touch with here, right? And it's not as scary as you think, right? These people love kids. They love their school. They want the best for their school. So all you need to do is like make sure your messaging matches what they're looking for. So that's what we can help you do. All right. So on working with kids and finding schools, obviously we want to work in your area. I mean, that's the whole point of our business, is that we serve our community. Now I'm going to tell you ways this works and ways it does not work. Okay. Now, I live in a school district. Mandy, who's an artsy coach on here, just happens to be a school board member. That's not why we have the in at the school. The reality is that all my boys went to school there, Don's kids went to school there, all these different things, right? But we have had relationships. We served on the PTA, and so we knew how this all worked. So some schools are like, yes, come in, show me you're an independent contractor, make sure you have license, make sure you have a background check, all that good stuff. But we have run into schools where they do not allow parents to run after school clubs or to collect money from their students. So you just have to look at the school's rules and things like that. It just depends how formal your school district is. But the reality is you are an independent contractor offering independent services. So it just depends if you have students in the school, if you're associated with the school in any way, there could just be a conflict of interest. But for example, I like to just use my district as an example. We work in the district. I have worked in the district the entire, throughout my career. So what you would want to do is pull up, especially if you don't know what district you're in or have worked in the school, is look and locate the top 5 schools in your school. Not top 5, I'm sorry, the 5 elementary, K through 8 work well. It's very hard to get into high schools. I wouldn't say it's impossible to get into high schools. In fact, I would love to challenge you to try to get into high schools because I would love create in the classroom to be there. They definitely tend to have more activities and clubs. So I think just people are scared of teenagers in general. But our CITC release definitely is younger base. I'm not saying you can't change it up, but in this case, look for those K through 5 schools, K through 8 schools, and you're going to want to get on their website. They usually let you know who the principal is. They usually let you know who's maybe the PTA president or some information, who's the art teacher on there. Some schools have extra, staff that might have culture, or in fact, one of my friends is in charge of staff culture at a school. That could also be your way in. So just look for some of those names, see if they have an email address or a phone number, right? And so this is how you're just going to start to find your contact information, and you're going to narrow it down to who's in your area. And by the way, this has been for 14 years now, but like Charter schools are huge in my community. So also look at the charter schools because they're not always involved necessarily heavily with the school district. And so and believe me, every school is operated by that principal. That principal makes the decision. In Dawn's case, she's involved at the school district level, which is like the top of the top, because that's fantastic. The school district sometimes gets grants and can hire you and filter you out throughout the schools. So it just really depends um, on your school's model. So, okay, so those are the different examples. You're looking for like K-5 schools, K-8 schools, charter schools. Don't eliminate the idea of even child care centers. I know that's kind of crazy to think, but they offer before and after school clubs too at their child care facilities. So you can go look up those locations as well. They can hire you, they can charge extra to the parents if you come in to their locations as well. So just see what's around you, right? Just start learning their names, learning their mascots, especially if you're not into some of those things. All right, now remember your language when you go into the school needs to be what's in it for them. I know what's in it for you as an art ambassador, but what's in it for them, right? What do they care about? One, they need to trust you. You need to look fun, but most important, you need to be safe. So you need to have background checks. Through Artsy, you can request a background screening and we can provide that for you so that you look safe and not look, you are safe. We need safe people, right? Now, we also have some guidelines that we always encourage you never to be alone with the children. And so I'll talk more about that here in a minute. But what's also in it for them, another positive person from the community involved with their school. The other thing that's in it for them is they likely sometimes have grant money. And when they have grant money, they have to hire an outside service or provide that for their students. And some districts get this grant money and they can't spend it fast enough, right? They're coming up on a deadline. And I know all about grants. And they requested money, but they didn't include maybe a bus, or it's not very much for their whole school. So they only have like $10 or $15 per student. So the school is like, ooh, you might walk in and be like, yes, we have art money we have to spend with a third party. The other thing is what's in it for them is they now have a fundraiser opportunity or a special event that they can offer to their community. And then their reputation is like, hey, we're a good school because we offer these extra things. The other thing is it offers a variety from sports and academics, right? They're trying to serve all of their students. And you have the sporty kids, you have the smart, academic kids. I almost said nerdy kids, but hey, that was me. And they also want to support the artsy kids, right? And then some schools only really do have art on a cart. Like I went to visit a school once. I was volunteering for JA, and their everyday regular fourth grade teacher is also their art teacher. And so offering this, and they don't have to pay for it, they don't have to pay for you to come in, is a great benefit for them. So it's additional programming that doesn't cost them. And then, like I said, a lot of schools always care, of course, they care about STEM education, but a lot of them care about STEAM, and that's adding that A in there, A for art. So look at those schools when you go to their websites. Do they have STEAM on there? How are you aligning some of what I just said with what their website says, or I saw what you just typed in the chat. Go onto their parent PTA pages as well and see what they're looking for and see how your messaging aligns with what they're looking for. All right, so that's number 2, finding schools. We also offer at Artsy, we try to create flyers and materials. I just created this awesome postcard. Listen, my business coach says old school is new school. Old school is sending out marketing and mailers, and she said it's new now, right? She goes, I send postcards for all my stuff now. She's like, it has changed the game because everyone is so sick of their digital communication. So I created these postcards, and when you're an Artsy member, you can go download them. You can create your own, pop in your own picture there. You can use my words there, or you can create your own, and it's easy to print on Canva. You can order 10, 25 of them. Now you've already looked up all the schools. You can go handwrite in there, attention art teacher, Miss blah, 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 and mail her a postcard, right? And this is my technique. You mail something in the mail, you email something like a week later, and then you phone call, or you stop by the school and you take a gift, right? Like, this is a process. It's not just a one and done type of thing. They need to start seeing your name out there. And so we've created these images. You can use our design, you can modify our design, you can do whatever it is that you want. We highly recommend keeping the name Create in the Classroom, because if you go to createintheclassroom.com, it looks like you already have a website. And so it just makes you look, it has that more professional feel, as opposed to, Maria at Google at gmail.com. And so we try to help you look professional and be professional when you're presenting yourself to these schools. So we have parent letters, we have principal letters. We can help, with any sort of wording that you need to reach the target audience you're looking to reach. So those are some things on how to reach the school. All right, number 3, and this is one of those pictures that I was telling you about, like one of those after school clubs, because this is probably one of Mandy's pictures with this large group. Now, you could have this and Create in the Classroom on one of your monthly events. One of our previous guides, who used to do like 4 events a month, she had like 40 kids in a classroom. I don't always recommend that. I mean, I recommend a 1 to 20 kind of ratio, but if you have a helper, which she always had a parent helper, I do recommend like that 1 to 20 ratio. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. But number 3 in your book is really all about business goals and like, how can you maximize just Create in the Classroom? I know some of you on here run a regular paint party business, but maybe you're really trying to shift to keeping it simple, sweetie, right? You pick one painting every month and you paint out 4 different schools. And that's to the extent that you want to do, right? And, or you just want to dedicate yourself to the school district, and now you want to offer fundraisers and field trips, after school clubs, all that stuff. So you absolutely can just build a business with Create in the Classroom. But it does normally lead to other things if you're interested. So of course you want to start with kids. Like, kids are the most forgiving audience. This is why we love working in schools and working with kids. Also, they're loyal. Like, if you create a club they want to belong to, right? And they're going to want their parent to sign them up every single month. And parents, even though we're in an economic maybe downturn, parents will continue to invest in their kids before they invest in themselves. And so if you've been working the adult paint party business and you're like, I need to shift over, like, this is a reason why parents will not pay for themselves to go to girls' night out, but they'll pay for their kids to attend their after school club. What Create in the Classroom has the opportunity to do is create repeat business, which creates consistency for you. So again, if you've been in the paint party business and you're like, sometimes I work Fridays and sometimes I work Saturdays and Sundays, like, Create in the Classroom can create a little more consistency with your schedule, and you can maximize your efforts. And I know this to be true, right? You get in one school and they talk to each other, and the next school up the road now wants to have you there at their location. What's fantastic is you're like painting the same painting at both of those schools, right? You don't have to learn a new painting, you don't have to learn a new snack to take, anything like that. So you can literally repeat the same paintings with the multiple locations, is what I was talking about there. Also, you can have more than one. You can do like 1st through 3rd grade on the first Wednesday of every month, and then you can do like 4th and 5th graders on the 2nd Thursday of every month, right? So you can break up the groups, especially if your school has a lot of popularity for that, for your club. And then I already talked about having the same painting for the club for each month. So in your workbook, the example there is, can you find 4 schools, 4 classrooms, 4 age groups? Can you repeat this 4 times in a month? And that's going to maximize your effort, especially if you're trying to do a part-time business, right? You don't want to be expanding into all these other areas. You can really find your niche here. So what are some 4 ways that you can serve and repeat what you're doing? You can repeat it at a rec center, a community center. It doesn't always have to just be in a school. You can always reach out to the other clubs, right? And have a Boy Scout or Girl Scout party. So there are ways that you can maximize what you're doing at one school or in a school district. Now, naturally, it depends on how business, how much you're wanting to grow your business, but this is how my business grew. I started doing girls' night outs. I started doing these kids camps. Then I got invited to a fundraiser at a school. And from there, my business just naturally grew. I started doing kids' birthday parties. I started doing mom's night outs. I started getting invited to other schools, and eventually our business grew into doing signs and projects and artsy pop-ups. I wanted to share this picture up at the top right because I just did this party like 2 weeks ago. It was my largest party with 100. I got paid for 98 painters, only like 87 showed up. But this is where I started, in 2011, when we started Gallery on the Go. I started with this tiny little fundraiser at a school with $15 per person painter. And here I am 14 years later. I made $3,000 at that event, right? And that's a part-time side hustle. So all of these things started to evolve from starting working in schools. And so that's why I'm passionate about, starting and working at school is authentically you are serving and doing a good cause. But your business can evolve into other things, just based on how you grow with your business. So that's step 3 is like, how can you create this 4x4 month schedule? And are you going to allow it to spin off into other areas? It's totally up to you. You get to create the business that you want to create. All right. Number 4 in your workbook is all about artsy math. This is really why you're here. If you're learning, how can I make money? Now, here's the thing, because we not only are in the United States, all over in different states, but we are all over the world, right? We have people in London and Canada and Australia, all these other places. So what we recommend to charge isn't always fly in all the different states. Those of you in California, you guys have a lot of money over there. Right? No, you can charge far more money in those areas sometimes. Depends where you're serving, right? So we like to say $18 to $25. You guys, I have done paint parties with kids for $10 in my hometown, right? Because those kids have grant money, they're Title X school, and I want them to be exposed to art. So you determine what you're going to charge. But I would recommend, if you're creating a CITC business, a create in the classroom business, really ideally you can start with about $18 per kid. Now you can create sign up specials. So you're like, hey, if you sign up from September to April, it's $15, right? Because you're prepaying for 6 months, 8 months at a time. You create a discount for the parent. Or you have a drop-in rate. Drop-in rate is $25, right? Everybody knows that you pay more when you drop in. So you can create your own pricing. We don't list pricing on our Create in a Classroom website, because you need to customize it for your culture, your area, your what's going on in your school. But your goal is to get like 20, 25. Most classrooms, if the school's allowing you to be in one of their traditional classrooms, maybe they're going to let you be in the art room. Maybe they're going to let you be in the cafeteria, which is truly the best place to be. How many can you fit there? Now, I always recommend that you have another parent that you allow their kid to paint for free, so that that parent might want to come help you. And they're kind of like paying for their kid's spot by coming to help you, right? Or you let their 2 kids come help. And because then you can add 40 kids, 45 kids. And we have absolutely seen that. Mandy does large events like this all the time because there's other adults present to help her in that room. Now, I always remember Carrie Wallace was one of our CITC guides. She made the kids go set up themselves. They all walked in the room, they all grabbed their easel, they all plopped it open, they grabbed their own canvas, they got their own palette. So you can put the kids to work because they're kind of used to that in their art classroom too. But anyway, back to the artsy math. If you have, I did some basic math here. If you have 20, 25 kids, $18, you're going to average $450 an event. That's on the low end, right? You've got to deduct your costs. Now, remember, I said canvas painting is pretty low, but you do have to deduct some canvas and some paint. Eventually have to replace maybe some brushes. I still have a lot of brushes and cups. I still have like my original cups. We recommend you use real supplies instead of like paper plates and all that disposable stuff. But anyway, you will have costs, right? So deduct $50 to $100, especially if you're doing a snack. If you're doing these like cute little flashlights, you got to deduct your cost, right? And if you're doing stuff like this, you got to charge for this. So keep that in mind as well. But on the low end, on the low end, if you can do that 4x4 method, on the low end, you'd be at $1,500 take home, right? And that's an average hourly rate of $75 an hour. I don't like to do events for less than $50, $80 an hour. I know that sounds really high, but when you break down the cost of your business, you're on this call right now. This call costs you money. Just time is money, right? And so You never have to feel guilty about trying to making your earnings goal $80 an hour. It's worth your time. By the time you go home and prep your brushes and clean supplies, all that different stuff, it's absolutely important that you charge well. And I would say set minimums. Somebody asked on our call this week or in our group, what's the minimum create in the classroom? Now that's up to you. If you're a brand new business owner and you're just trying to get your feet wet, you're just trying to make way, you're trying to build the program, start with 10, right? 10, $180 might not be worth it all the time. But if you know and you're confident in what you're providing, you know that 10 is going to turn into 20 and that 20 is going to turn into 30. Do it, right? That's the marketing cost to start to build your business. So that's not your average money, not your average math there. So my question for you is, what would your household, or how would your household change with an extra $1,000 to $1,500 a month? And I'm just going to give myself a pause from talking, and I'm going to put up the poll. So let me see what comes up here. I'm trying to put up another poll. All right, I launched a poll for you while I take a drink of water. What would your household do with an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month if you really built up your Create in the Classroom business? Would you do bills, fun money, build your business into full-time, travel and adventure, savings, or you would just buy more art and craft supplies? Or the last option there is, I wonder if this is really possible. Yeah, you can mark more than one answer. Yeah, buying more art and craft supplies. I mean, that is my whole point for doing this business. I love to buy new things and experiment with them. I love taking glitter paint and all these fun extras to my kid parties. I buy costumes. I like a unicorn costume and a wig and sunglasses. I like to just buy extra stuff to take to my events. Not always the best business advice that I would have for you, but it does make the events really fun. All right. Well, I see a lot of you are looking to build some savings. That's smart of you and a great opportunity to do that. Yeah. So, but otherwise, we do have the realities, right? Like, I'm getting ready to buy a new house, you guys. So I know I'm like trying to up my parties because I have a down payment. I have a fixer upper now, all these different things, right? So it never hurts to have some of that extra cash. And you just never know what's going to happen with your paint party business and how it will help support some of those goals. I love one of our gallery guides last summer. She had set a goal of taking her family to Disneyland or Disney World. I don't know which one it was. And I loved it. She's been one of our gallery guides for a long time, like since 2013 or 14. Her name's Michelle. And I love watching those types of things happen years and years later where they got to do some of those things. So yes, set some of those goals. All right. I shared the results with you. A lot of you are savers. That's really good. And paying those bills down. All right. So it is possible if you start to build up your business and start to be consistent and build a reputation and a name for yourself as well. So my question for you now is, after I've shared this information to you, what's stopping you from starting a business that you like and love? For those of you who said that you're starting this brand new, what's stopping you? Is it confidence, courage? What is it? Is it just having the roadmap to do it? For those of you who are looking to pivot into Create in the Classroom, what has been stopping you? So I know some of you on here that I know personally. I know one of the things that would stop me is I'm not necessarily available right after school anymore, right? So maybe it's the time. But also it could just be like, I'm afraid to go talk to the principal. I don't know who to talk to, right? I need that courage. So let me know in the chat what's holding you back from starting this business that you want to love. Because this is how we come up with our training. You got to tell us what's stopping you so that way we know what to train and what to talk about and what resources to provide for you. All right. Now, this is a really quick call. I mean, it's we're almost done actually. We started at 5:30, 6:30 now. So we have 6 minutes left. So I'm just going to run through a few more things because there is more to this. I don't want to just be like, no, you're ready to go do work in the classroom, right? Here, I want you to decide that this is something you want to do. Now, here at Artsy, we have a curriculum that you can go train. You can go download the workbook. It walks you through all the modules, step by step by step, what's going to be relevant for your business. Don't forget one of the steps, like learning how to do a background check or things like that. Here's where I talked about like handling discipline issues. This is really important. This is real world. When you get into the classroom and you get that little kid who's like, should not be in the after school club. So what do you do in those situations? How do you protect yourself? All of that good stuff is included in our training. And we're not going to dive into all of those details today because we have a short amount of time. But when you're in the association, these are the things we can dive in deeper into conversations. We have training for this. And you can get what we call CITC certified. Now, we don't grade your work or anything. We just trust that you're following the system, but it is a 10 module create in the classroom lesson that you can come in and you can come look and watch those videos, each one that pertains to you. And then you can feel confident in the service that you're providing. So we call this our create in the classroom badge and certification. Now, I'm just going to expand onto like why this is more important. Of course, we do need to make extra money. We're looking for a part-time business. We want something that's one, sustainable and possible, right? But the big picture is this is something that changed in my heart after I started this business, was learning that art matters and art advocacy. And, I do live near districts and school districts with a lot of minorities or Title X schools. And I grew up, I am Latina, I am, and I never grew up going to museums and getting to do those extra things. And back in my olden 1900 days, right, we didn't have a lot of grants and things like that that made it available. So I love so much that there are grants and there are organizations that want to promote art, because art really does matter. And there is a deep connection between art and emotion, and it just matters. And so sometimes we just feel like we're doing an art party, but underneath it all, like those kids feel like they belong when they go to a club. They start to trust you, and you become a repeat, fun, safe person in their life. And so it's just our entryway into the lives of children, and it also just happens to be fun. The other thing is, if you've never owned a mobile business, I just want you to know there's so much power in it. I like to compare ourselves to like the uprising of paid party industry. Uber goes to where the customer is. Airbnb now is everywhere. You don't have to go straight to a hotel. Food trucks are the best example of our business in our industry, right? We go to the people. I love that our business, our very first state was Colorado. Our second state was North Dakota, which Tammy is from North Dakota. And our business went to the rural parts of town, went to these farm places, went to these outskirts of town. And so our business just has a lot of power when we are mobile. If you want to own a studio, power to you. Tammy owns one. It does have its perks for sure. But being mobile allows you so many things. It doesn't have a lot of overhead. And we've mastered the portable setup. And we've been in business for over 14 years, teaching people how to have a mobile paint party business. So of course, what we didn't cover in this call, especially if you're brand new, is like, what supplies do I take to a school? And we also have some tips and tricks on how to build your business. You don't have to show up with easels right off the bat. You can just show up, paint on the table, flat on the table, or you can find more economic friendly ways of starting your business before you buy more easels and brushes. And we do recommend brushes. You absolutely need to have brushes right off the bat. But you can use paper plates or plastic cups until you start to build that up. But we have a whole supply kit list and where to shop and how much to buy from and all of those different things to start to build your business. So when you're with the Artsy Studio, it's an all access pass. Variety. You can use our logos and branding, like Create in the Classroom, Gallery on the Go. You get professionally designed materials. You don't have to design those yourself. Flyers. We have a Canva Pro membership for you that you get to use for free. You get to use a Zoom membership if you decide to do online clubs. You want to join Artsy, you're listed to start getting referrals. It was so cool when I started designing the new release for Create in the Classroom. We actually got a school referral from a vice principal who was looking for us to come into the schools. This was like in New Jersey or something. But our reps in New Jersey then got that lead, right? You get the reputation of an established brand. You belong to us, to to this organization, not to us. We don't own you, but you belong to our organization. So you already look reputable. We have social media groups. We could share all of our artwork and projects with you. We have emailing software so that you look professional when you email out to your contacts. You get reports and open rates and all that different things. We have wholesale discounts. We do some group ordering, which I'll tell you about our brushes here in a minute. And if you happen to be in the same city or state, by the way, Marlene, when you said you're from Aurora, you can borrow each other's supplies. That 100-person party I just did in Parker, I had to borrow supplies from 2 people to make sure that I could get to do that party. So it also helps if you need someone to cover your party if you get sick or something like that. So that's the perks of the association. Also, when you join the association, you can see the Create in the Classroom training here on the top left. That has like those 10 modules, but you see all these other classes and events that we have to empower our guides so that they're up on the latest artwork trends, so that their heart is inspired by art too, because they get tired of the same old thing all the time. And so we try to have these fun conferences to prepare you for the holidays, to prepare you with new ideas as you have an art-based business. And so when you join Artsy, you don't have to pay for any of these individually. You get them all as soon as you join. So that's pretty great as well. We have lots of fun things we offer here. Artsy pop-ups, mini art projects. We're all over the country. So we usually have these pins are just for funsies, but they're actually all over the country. So that way you might have someone who understands what you're going through, especially if you're in a certain part of town, like you Californians can like get together and be like, oh my gosh, what is happening here, right? With all your regulations and things like that. No offense, I'm not saying they're not right. I'm just saying you have them. All right, you can do this. And my whole point is like what I love is business coaching is you can do this as a business. I've been doing this for 14 years and I haven't stopped doing it because it's great side hustle money. And you can do this on your own. Like you don't need Artsy to figure this out. It's not like rocket science. You join this call. I've told you some insider secrets. You can go do your own thing. Your community needs you, needs positive, fun people to promote good, encouraging things. And you can set it up. It like takes a month maybe or less to start going and setting it up. So you can do it. You can do it on your own. We would, of course, love if you wanted to join Artsy. And we know why people join us because being an entrepreneur can be scary. And if you've never started your own business, maybe you're thinking like, what if I fail? Oh, that is so scary. Of course, failing is scary, but of course, there's always lessons to learn if and when you do fail. It's okay. But yeah, fear is real. Starting something new is real. And you probably want someone to hold you accountable. I know that's what I need, right? So some of you juggling 10 things. I know some of you on here who are already doing paint parties. You're like, I just got to focus on one area and stick with it, right? This could be it. And we want to hold you accountable to doing that too. I definitely juggle 10 different things. You're nervous to try again because maybe you've had a business before. I love, Mandy's story. She talks about like, 15, 20 years ago when she sold other direct sale type things like Arbonne and didn't maybe succeed at that. And so she was scared to start something new. And here we are 14 years later. And so you're wondering if you start something, are you really going to follow through? Because maybe you've tried other things. Especially, I love to give the example of direct sales. If you've ever tried direct sales, this is a great business for you. It's that in-home party kind of feel. Only the difference is you already know you made the sale before you even get there because you sell tickets. And so I get it. If you've tried other direct sale businesses or you've been an entrepreneur before, or maybe you started your artsy business, like 2 or 3 years ago and you haven't really picked it back up since the pandemic. And so you're like just trying to figure out how to get it back started again. So I get it. You're nervous, right? So we've been there. All 4 of us have been in different phases of our business and working with kids, working in companies, working with school districts, working with, all these sorts of different backgrounds. Each one of us artsy coaches has a background in our business and collectively have experience that we love to share, but also our artsy members are also available and they share their insights and their experiences of what they're doing. So that's the best part is you're just not alone when you're trying to build something new. So you get to decide, is this like not for you right now? if you want to join artsy, but you're going to keep your eyes open, that's great ideas. Like, this is starting to plant a seed for you. Go do some business research. Number two, you no longer want to sit and like wait for everything to be ready. You've been thinking about starting this. You've been thinking about like reviving your business, right? You need to get back in it, and you don't want to do it on your own. And the third one is like, maybe you're ready to commit to this decision and like get going again. And you realize this time around, you really want some help. So if you're number three and you really want to commit to a creative business, then we just invite you to join, Create in the Classroom. Of course, we have our 10 module course that Tammy and Mandy will walk you through. You have the Artsy Studio. You have all the instructions that you need to walk you through on your business, and you immediately have access to the association. Number two is you get a year full of content for your Create in the Classroom business and more. You actually get like 3 years of content because we've been doing this for quite some time. So you get all of the information, all of the bundles that are released for you, to make sure you have enough content to serve all those kids in the Create in the Classroom. But of course, we also just teach you paint party basics. So if you're looking to start a Create in the Classroom business and you've actually never done paint parties before, you can watch our Paint Party 101 series. That way you can just become familiar and comfortable with painting party in general. And of course, we have a fun certification badge for that too. So as you can see, lots of courses that are available. The value is far worth a lot more. You're going to get some bonuses, your GOTG fund certification, all of those different things. And of course, I'm trying to get to the price here so I can show you, but I already told you about these classes. But our all access pass hasn't changed for years and years. It's $297 to join Artsy. That's less than $25 a month. And you have access immediately to all the resources that I've shared. You can immediately start advertising for your business as you're building it. You can start sending out those postcards to the schools to say, hey, I'm bringing paint parties to your school starting in October. And then you can gradually start building your business here in September. And in less than 30 days, you can get going. Now, when you're a member of the Artsy Studio, there's no contracts, no monthly, commitments or anything like that. There's no contracts. You get access to the Artsy Studio. We try to make it as easy as possible to be a member. So there's not really any fine print other than like, don't use our stuff and quit the membership and keep using our stuff. So it's really easy to enroll. If you're interested, you can go to artsyassociation.com/join. $297 if you're looking to join us. Now, for those of you that are active members, you'll be seeing in our business bundle that we will be doing more hands-on one-on-one artsy, business coaching for CITC. Because what I want you to bring to that class is, hey, I've been trying to reach out to the school, or can you help me wordsmith this email? Or what would you do in this situation? And how can we dissect a little bit more about what you're trying to do, or maybe what roadblocks you might be facing, or any ideas that you might need to continue building your business. All right, so I'm just gonna go through a few last questions. You guys are welcome to drop off at any point, but I am recording this and I know some people will be watching after. So I like to just answer a few frequently asked questions. And I know Mandy has also been busy answering some things in the chat. So she's talking about maybe what to do at dry time and stuff like that. But some of the frequently asked questions is, do I have to buy a kit or any supplies from you? No, we don't actually sell supplies other than brushes, which you see on the screen. We invented this system with the black, green, blue, red, and purple tips so that when the cups are in the water, you can tell the kids, hey, everyone's grabbing their purple brush, or grab your little black brush and you're going to paint details and da da da. If you looked at all the other paintbrushes in the world, that you can't tell them apart from each other if they're from the same manufacturer, right? So we sell colored tip brushes. It's a system that we exclusively designed, and you can buy those brushes from us. If you are a member, you get them for $4.50 for a 5-pack, far cheaper than any other store. And if you're not a member, you can also buy them for $7 a pack. And they're plastic tipped. They work really well for Create in the Classroom, high use, and needing to wash them. Another question we often get is like, I already have a company or a brand or business. Can I still work in classrooms without CITC training? Absolutely. You can join the Artsy Association. We do prefer that you do the CITC training just so that you have follow our standards. and background screenings and things like that. But you are technically an independent contractor, so you're not under our liability or anything like that. Or but you can use your own brand. So I could be like Artsy with Maria's coming to the school. I don't have to do create in the classroom. The other question is, can I use my own business logo, my image, my website, or is everything branded with Gallery on the Go or Artsy? So when we create social media or images, sometimes we brand them with Artsy or Gallery on the Go, but that's just an icon placeholder. You can replace it with your own image and your own brand so that it can look like it's coming from you. So we don't mind sharing that with you. And then some people ask, how long do I have access to the training? So if you're a member, it's a 1-year membership. So you have access for that training, all those training videos for that 1 year. As long as your membership is active, you always have access to those videos, workbooks, and training. So that's also a frequently asked question. All right, so that was it. I guess I went 10 minutes over. Any other conversation or questions that you guys have? But I will leave this up on the screen in case you're looking to enroll. And Bambi said, is there anyone? So the best way to see if anyone is near you is go to galleryonthego.com, because all of our members are listed there by different states, and you can go see who's near you. And some people, if they choose not to be listed there because maybe they just use our resources, but they don't maybe do mobile parties or something. But other than that, you can go on there, and whoever's active in our association, you can see who might be in your area. And then we do have a CITC process where you request a school or school district. And that's just our way of making sure like there aren't too many people trying in a popular area. And so we would notify you if anyone was in your area doing that as well. All right, let's see. Any other questions? I saw Mandy was giving out some advice about fine-tuning messaging, sending emails, being more persistent. Yeah, that's always the hard part, right? But remember, you are a salesperson initially. Not everybody's comfortable with that. So what is the process? Let's mail out a flyer. Let's now send out an email, right? Like, hey, did you get my postcard in the mail? Who would I talk to? Oh, we always say the receptionist is the keys to the kingdom too, right? Who would answer this? Who could I talk to about this? And I'm telling you, if you actually come in and you deliver like some paint cookies or something with a little sign or something, like they're not usually rude right to your face. Now I know schools are different nowadays because of like security and all of those different things. So it could be a little bit more difficult in your school district. So mailing things, contacting PTA, but remember the PTO, they're always fundraising. So they're always looking for these opportunities. That's why it's a really great in sometimes with them. Also offering staff paint parties is a great in, because now you're doing a staff celebratory type of event. I used to give my kids school, like middle school teachers, I used to give them a free paint party to celebrate for teacher appreciation. And so, yeah, they just got to know you, right? You start these relationships in different ways. Yeah. So lots of creative ways to get into the schools. And some schools are just lock and key, right? You're not going to get into all of them for sure. All right. Well, I want to honor you guys' time. I'm available. You can always reply to the emails and the reminders that you've got if you're a new person. If you are an Artsy member, we can go continue the chat in our Facebook group, and just let me know what questions you have, because then we know how to train for some of these topics. All right. I'm going to let you guys go because my voice is almost gone. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.